Good day, our viewers. This is the Point Blank Talk Show on News Peddlers. You are welcome to this week's show. Thank you for being with us. Today, we will be discussing matters as regard Badagry, Nigeria, and around the world. On Badagry's topic today, we've seen flooding around Lagos State and its environment, even the Nigeria and outside Nigeria. But with Badagry, we know Badagry to be a riverine area. We have the Atlantic Ocean and some other water. There's water around Badagry, but we've not experienced any form of flooding. There's no any information as regard flooding in Badagry all through the week and up to this moment. What do you think the Badagry people are doing differently, or what do you think other parts of Lagos State need to learn from Badagry people that is, making them to the environment to be still okay and the waters are being controlled? Or what are they doing? How are they getting it right?
Okay. You see, we should give some credit to the current deputy chief whip of the Lagos State House of Assembly member, who is representing Badagry constituency 2.
Okay.
So, he was strategic about some, developments in Badagry, especially when it comes to clearing of drainage system in Badagry. If he was a little bit slower to, that purpose,
Make those moves.
exactly, of making those moves, clearing the
water
drainage systems in Badagry. Badagry could have as well witnessed serious flooding, especially the Koga axis. That place is a notorious area that is well known to have been suffering from flooding anytime we have a heavy downpour, as we have seen in this month of July. But if you noticed, he was quick, especially considering the condition of that road. The road is extremely terrible. He started the drainage system in every areas in Badagry, even down to the likes of BA, Magbon. All of this area witnessed the clearing of those drainages. So this could be one of the major catalysts that actually stop flooding in Badagry. For you to reduce flooding in every community, there should be a functional drainage system that is working within this
that is controlling the movement of the water.
The movement of water. And like every other places in Lagos, Badagry still maintain their most of their drainage system. There is nothing that is blocking Badagry drainage system like in other places where you see some structures that have been erected that is directly blocking the drainage system. Even some do we call them swampy areas to have been filled where water can actually lock themselves and flow. So they have been sold in some areas in Lagos, and these are issues that are now contributing to flooding in Lagos. Since water could no longer see where it can easily move to, then it will definitely flood every areas in Lagos. And if you look at something again, land actually helps in absorbing water. But in most areas in Lagos, people build their houses and German floor. They do the German floor of their compound. Then their land can no longer absorb water.
The waters will be pushed.
Yes, all the water from that compound will be pushed outside. Then the gutters too, they have been flooded and well plastered, and it can no longer absorb water. Then you look at the roads. Most roads are tarred, so the roads too are equally obstructing land surface, and the land can no longer absorb water.
Even had it been I think as regard the gutter you mentioned,
Yes.
had it been these gutters are even free, like some gutters today they are being filled with refuse and so I don't think if even if a gutter is being plastered and well and is flowing freely, I think
my own point is not about whether the gutters are okay or not. I'm just trying to drive out the point that for you to for land to absorb water, that's the point I'm driving
okay.
So most land are no longer absorbing water, because they have been tarred, and German floor have been done to so many places. So even the gutters too, that is where I'm driving out the point, that even the gutters too that the waters are flowing to, they have all been tarred. Then it now needs, the gutter needs to be flowing properly for the water to move directly to their canals. But on most occasions, gutter too are blocked. People are dumping refuse into most gutters, and at the end of the day, you see flooding. So land, the original purpose where it can easily absorb water, is no longer there. So all waters are now moving out. So you should expect flooding. But in Badagry, it's not always the case. Most places you still don't have this.
Still open for ground, open floors, where people where the water will be absorbed.
And the contribution or the quota from each compound in Badagry is minimal. So every water is no longer going out. Some are absorbed at the original point. So these are some of the reasons why Badagry did not experience flooding. But we give credit to the deputy chief who moved on time to fix some of these problems that could have led to flooding in Badagry.
All right, my viewers, thank you so much for being with us today. This is still Point Blank Talk Show. My name is Manoah. Kikekon. With me today is Daniel Dovoeke. Still on Badagry, we are looking at but from what you've said now as regard how flood is being maintained and controlled in Badagry. What do you think the state government, Lagos state government, can do better in terms of managing this situation in other part of the mostly the part of Lagos state that these things are affected are the metropolitan part of Lagos state, that the developed part of it's affecting the economy, it's affecting the development. What has happened now in terms that flooding would have destroyed a lot of properties, but we thank God that we've not recorded any loss of life at this moment. But it has disrupted the economy. These are people that have lost their houses. They will be destabilized. The economy would be slowed down at some point. What do you think the government can do in order to improve this?
You see, over time, people express sentiments when government is trying to put some things in places. And we have seen some recent demolition that has been tagged to be a witch hunting
on a particular tribe.
And sometimes I had a conversation with a particular person who happens to be from that tribe that people are claiming that they are witch hunting them in Lagos. And the man was telling me that he knows his own people. He said his people are the type of people who believe that there is nothing money cannot do. That even though you tell them that this thing is an illegal place for you to erect a building structure, they are going to tell you to name your price. That they believe that with money they will get everything done, they will bribe all their way out. So they believe that there is nothing money cannot do. But they have forgotten that there are some particular problems that cannot be controlled by their money except they do the right thing. So these are some of the issues that we have. If state government tries to demolish more buildings and for them to, especially those that are blocking drainages, there will be more issues. Especially if you look at it strategically, those who have been investing heavily in, places that are either swampy areas or more, if you look at the nature of things in Lagos, you see most often indigenes do not build houses in those areas. Most houses are built by non-indigenous, especially those wealthy people who think they have the capacity to even feel and do everything. So now, if government is now trying to demolish a particular ethnic tribe is now mostly affected, then sentiment will come. Lagos is targeting this tribe, and it's not as if government that is demolishing in those areas, that even if indigenous properties are there, that they won't demolish them. They are equally demolishing everything, but the sentiment is becoming too higher. And it's definitely leads to some caution on the part of government to try to carry out some of these things. So on the part of government, I think their hands are tight. All they can do at the moment is just for them to try to dredge our probably the canals
and the gutters are being cleared,
and they clear the gutters and to do some other things. And if you look at it, flooding is no longer an issue that is peculiar to Lagos.
Yeah,
it is a problem of Nigeria, and it is a problem across the world.
The global
recently, the likes of Bangladesh have been experiencing this serious threat. India, Pakistan, all of these countries, they are experiencing this same problem. So it's not a peculiar problem to Lagos, but most often here, why we are complaining here is because most of our own flooding problem is artificial.
Yeah,
it is not natural.
Yeah.
So, and I think we can equally, try at the same time try to, reduce the level of
casualty that
the level of problem that can come out of those artificial problems that have been created. If economy is stopped for hours or for days because of flooding, it is not speaking in the best interest of the state. So at the end of the day, the state is losing, the country is losing, and even people are losing their homes. They are relocating. So I think we should equally advocate that people should move away from the idea that you must all live in Lekki. You must all live in Lagos.
They are
come
part
to Badagry.
There are lands. They are part of Lagos State that are still, are not as developed as people think Lagos.
Exactly.
All part of Lagos is.
Yes.
There are some places like Ekpe, places like Badagry. There are still a lot of landmass that will not ever experience flood, because looking at the land texture, looking at their location, their geographical location, they may not, no matter before they could, it will take a lot of time before they could experience any level of flooding. So I think this is an avenue for everybody that is, will be, looking at, staying in Lagos, or if you must stay in Lagos, at least everybody shouldn't be choked in a particular place that would, by the time there's any challenges, either is maybe it could be security or this natural occurrence, that it will not outrightly disrupt the economy of the state, the survival of the people within, larger part of the people. Because when you look at it now, extensively, the people, but the Lagos State economy is being, to some extent, depending on this part of the state that is being affected. So I think this is also an avenue to tell every Lagosian or Nigerians, if you are to stay in Lagos, there are still places like Badagry that is not even well developed to that extent. And at the same time, I will also use this opportunity to speak to the government, the Lagos State government, to try as much as they could in terms of improving infrastructures, road infrastructures within the state, because this is a major factor that encourages the movement of the people from one place to another. When you tell people to come to Badagry, go to places like when you talk about Dovoeke, Rikiti and the likes, those interior parts of Badagry, when it's not even accessible to people that are using motorcycle. Don't talk of somebody that will come all the way from Lagos with his car.
That is why we are raising concern of the government. We have said that recently on the show. That the Lagos State government should look on how to declare, an emergency on roads.
Road infrastructure in Badagry, basically.
So government it's
becoming alarming.
They need to do more in Badagry, and roads should become one of their major priorities.
This is not even about, I don't think we shouldn't talk about state government alone, because the federal government is not even doing enough in terms of federal roads in Badagry, in terms of even the local government. The local government is not doing enough in terms of streets and making streets motorable, making streets accessible.
Well, what I can say in regards to the local government is that the myopic view of the local government, and I think it should be challenged henceforth. Is that especially, so one of the local government chairmen we have presently in Badagry, and it's not a peculiar problem to Badagry, it is across board. They believe that they are limited in terms of infrastructure. Meanwhile, the constitution is very clear to their rules.
Yeah.
They have the responsibility of fixing some, street roads.
Yeah.
They don't expect the state government to fix them.
Yeah.
They have the responsibility of fixing some other petty
infrastructures.
There are some things they can
that will
do
make life easy for the people.
And they are getting taxes from these communities.
Yeah.
If
revenues are coming out.
Taxes, they look on how to,
expand the scope.
Their scope.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
and even
infrastructural development, they limit their scope.
And even in terms of that task, they use various means to make sure that task comes out of you.
Yes.
Either by tickets, either by something. Somebody will come and enforce that on you. Either you like it or not, and that money will go out of you. But at the end of the day, there's nothing coming to the people in return.
That is why I've been saying that they have a myopic view when it comes to development, infrastructural development. You look at local government chairmen, most often they are often limited to a particular axis of the local government or of the secretariat.
Yeah, of course.
Their development have always been limited around secretariats. So areas around secretariats often seen a little bit of influence of local government, and areas that are a little bit far from the secretariat do not experience anything except when it comes to taxation. That is only reason, and you cannot be taxing people without representing them.
Yeah.
So these are issues that should, raise public awareness, and people should start questioning the local government that, look, we will stop paying you taxes if you cannot come and fix some of our problems. You don't just come and develop markets.
Yeah.
For you to
generate more revenue.
Market is their revenue base.
Yeah.
So you cannot just come and bring developers to develop markets.
Yeah.
And the roads leading to those markets are in poor states.
Very poor states.
So these are issues that we all need to be agitating.
Yeah, because
better governance should be.
Yeah, because I just brought that in because when we tell people to come to Badagry and eventually they come and the situation is they will eventually leave.
It has always been the case.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who actually own houses in Badagry, and most of them have never relocated to Lagos.
Yeah,
because they cannot be experiencing the terrible roads. So if Lagos state government actually want to decongest Lagos, I think one of the first things they can do is to fix roads in Badagry.
People will not have option. You will just see people moving, moving out.
We are not saying they should come and give us water
at all.
These are things that government should do, but individuals are doing them by themselves. But roads, individual does not have the capacity.
Apart from capacity, by law, you are not allowed to do.
No, there are processes. We have seen the likes of Dovoeke fixing some roads recently. So there are processes for you, especially during the administration of the former president Muhammadu Buhari. He has bringing some policy that can allow individuals to fix roads, but you go through some processes.
And I can tell you, these processes are very rigorous.
Well, it depends on how you may want to see the process.
Okay.
So if there are some processes that have been laid down, I don't think we should see it from the rigorous
angle, right?
If we actually wanted to develop our areas and we have the capacity, then let us go through the process. We shouldn't be looking for shortcuts.
All right. Thank you for staying with us. This is the Point Blank Talk Show on News Peddlers. Secondly, on Badagry today, we saw a post recently by the House of Rep member representing Badagry Federal Constituency. He released a post as that he has passed a bill, an act has been put forward at the National Assembly, and this is in effect is in relation to French language village, and it's an inter-university institution in Badagry where students around Nigerian university comes to complete their study in French language. by the time he released the information, there was a lot of backlash from people around Badagry and his environment. That you see, this thing has been, we've heard about this thing before, since as far back as 2001, when a senator has proposed such bill, and the news is out there that this bill has moved already. So why are you coming out to tell us the same thing somebody has done years back? So eventually we saw a press release to that effect, addressing the matter clearly, that this bill could not see the light of the day as at then, and now the House of Rep member is pushing further that this is being implemented. What do you think? What's your take as regard this? A lot of people misunderstood this information, and at the same time, some people were saying that it is much more advisable for Badagrians, and even with Badagry, it's not even about Badagrians, it's about Nigerians. Now, when your representative comes out with some information that is not clear, it's always advisable you call the attention to it. You need to explain these things to us better. But at the same time, some people are seeing it as if you are trying to go against your representative. Why should you be questioning him as regard any information he has released? At least he has done something, so you should be able to praise him. What's your take as regard that?
Well, I think, let me start from the second aspect that you asked last. The issue of representation is not something that we should all try to give unnecessary appraisal to those who are representing us. They have made their choice that they wanted to go and represent the people, and anytime we have issues to question them, they see it as part of their responsibility as being leaders of the community. So people should back down from the idea of always trying to sing praises for these people. That is why I think Robert Mugabe said that if your leaders are fixing roads, they are fixing infrastructures, and all you do is to praise them, then it means something is wrong with you psychologically, because they are doing their constitutional duties. What they have said that they are going there to do, that is what they are doing. They are not doing you a favor. They are doing what is required of them. So they shouldn't even be in the picture of trying to project themselves that they are doing you good. No, they are doing themselves good.
This is what they already know, that I am going to this office, and even in the process of campaign, they even make more promises.
Of course. So now they have said clearly that they are going there to do this. If they are now doing it, we don't have to appreciate them. No, we can, at least sometimes we can appreciate them, but not like sing praises that people has always been heaping on them. This is wrong. We do not have to, they do not even, some of them over times have even been engulfed with the idea that anything they do, even if they give you water, you have to appreciate them. That they are doing you good.
Meanwhile, you voted for them
from their own discretion.
Your vote is part of what?
It's not even about your vote.
Okay.
It is about the office they occupy. They are occupying your own office.
Okay.
But it is because democracy, when it started in the ancient Greek, the 50 Greek cities, they have a place of convergence where everybody meets to discuss matters of public affairs. But as time goes on, where governance is becoming more bigger, the issue of trying to come together to discuss matters of public concern can no longer be tolerated. That is why we have the issue of proportional representation. Now, if we have proportional representation, that you are directly representing me, issues that concerns me is what you are definitely going there to discuss. Then you no longer have to do anything that is our collective patronage. I mean, anything that is our own collective interest or effort that you are now trying to represent, and you are being paid for your representation.
Of course.
And the money you are using in carrying out most of all this is not your own money. It is our money. Then I do not think I owe you any appraisal. You are doing what we have designated to you to go and do. It's just like you being given a contract that, let's assume you are a construction engineer and somebody has given you a contract that, look, can you build this house? And you said yes. And the person gave out the contract. How much are you going to execute this job? Then you have everything at your own disposal. Okay, with this amount. Then the owner of the building now give you the materials needed to execute those plans. And at the end of the day, you carried out what you have been paid to do. Are you now saying the owner of the house should now tell you, thank you very much?
Should now come and appreciate you,
should now come and
praise you?
No, you should be the one praise or appreciating the owner of the house who has used his own discretion to give you that job, because there are other people who also qualify to be given that same job. So you should be the one appreciating that, thank you very much for giving me this job, and it is an opportunity for me to represent or to even execute your plan. So I think this same issue, this same analogy applies to our representatives, those who are representing us at different levels. So the idea that we have to praise them, it must stop. They should do away from that idea, and they should embrace the fact that those who are making logic, in fact, people oftentimes, those who sing praise them do not provide any solution
at all.
But those who make a critical and logical arguments, against their office, are those who contribute to their knowledge, and in a way they are equally trying to suggest to the representatives that, look, this is a better way you can do this. So I think the idea must stop. Then let's go back to the issue you raised earlier about a bill that was passed by the House of Representatives on the reintroduction of Nigerian French language village as an inter-university institution. I think that bill was initially passed by Senator Adiola Yayi. So he passed the bill in I think he raised a bill concerning that I think in 2019, and the bill was passed in 2021. But according to the statement I've seen from the member of House of Representatives, he said the bill did not get presidential assent. So I think that bill is a superior bill to the one passed by the House of Representatives, which did not see the presidential assent back then. Now he's now coming out to say, because immediately after he raised issues about him trying to bring up the issue of Nigerian French language village as an inter-university, people were confused at the initial point where he wrote those press release. People think that it is a new university. Some other people have thought that, look, it's like probably Nigerian French language village is going to become an institution
on its own,
where
students will be admitted from 100 level
through JAM and up to 400 level, and every other university across Nigeria will still send their students to Nigerian French village before they can graduate. But immediately people started questioning that issue, especially in regards to the bill that has been proposed in 2019, so and was passed in 2021. So immediately people started raising those questions. He has to come out and make another press release clarifying what was initially unclear to the people. And that was where he now said, okay, the other bill did not get presidential assent, and this bill is that has been passed by the House. He is going to use his own lobby to ensure Senate equally pass the bill, and after Senate has passed the bill, he is going to use his own lobby again for the president to pass the bill. We hope that he do so, because for me, I do not think it is necessary for him to come to the social media and write
when the bill has never even been assented by the president.
Has not even been assented to by the president. And two, when the bill is still equally going through the Senate approval, and the other one we are talking about was already proposed by the Senate directly, which the president did not assent to, it means that your bill is still inferior to the other bill that was passed. So you shouldn't come out to, tell the people that you have done this when you know
it has not even been completed.
It has not even gotten to any stage at all.
This
bill that you have passed, if in the process of where you try to say you are going to use your lobby again in the Senate, even the bill, according to him, he said he sponsored the bill through a minority leader in the House of Representatives. If that is true or not, we cannot debunk that. But again, if the bill can be successful in the Senate again, then that is when we will now be talking about the president again. So I think he could have waited until the president has assented to the bill before he come and share the news to Badagrans. It would have been a thing of success that people will have celebrated rather than backlash that the press release has received from Badagry. So I think the House of Rep member needs to do better in that capacity.
All right, thank you for your take as regard that. All right, our viewers, that's that about Badagry. Now we'll be looking at matters regarding Nigeria at large. So we look at Rivers State, Port Harcourt, where the government there has been unstable for some time now, where the governor Fubara has been having serious tension with the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Dovoeke. So currently the court had made a judgment as regard that the representative members that are defected to APC are still in office. What is your take as regard a court initially said they must relinquish their portfolio since they have defected to another party? Another court now has come out to say they are still they should still hold on to that portfolio, that there is no law that is nullifying the fact, because they have moved to the party, that there is no any law that nullify them being a representative of that state. Well, don't you think there's something going on, or there's a misconception or misunderstanding between those court sessions?
Well, over the years, we have often seen court contradictions, where you see a superior court trying to contradict the inferior courts. But then let us look at it from this way: a court that was sitting in Rivers State made a judgment proclaiming that the lawmakers that defected from the PDP have lost their seats. And now another court has come out to say the court is not ruling according to the governors of Rivers, who said he is not going to be distracted by any court judgment, that he is focused on development in Rivers State. The court judgment, according to him, is not on whether they defected or not. The court is only affirming them as a legislator in Rivers State. So now, those other legislators who remain in the party from which they were voted are now saying that since another court has restated that they are still members of the legislator, not ruling on their defection, they are going to pursue another case in the Supreme Court on the legality of their defection. So it's no longer an issue whether they are members of the legislator that they are contesting, but the legality of their defection, if they can still hold that office
as regard from the aspect of the party.
That is the point that these people are now raising. And the governor has come out to say, look, he's not distracted by anything. That he's focused. He has made promises to the people that 2025 he is going to, go out on, development. Major budget concern is going to be for education and health. So he said that is his major concern. But at the moment, he's trying to, put up some, health facility in Rivers State and massive budget is coming in 2025 to addressing health and education in Rivers State. This now leads to the question: does it mean that Rivers State is seriously lacking in terms of health and education? Does it mean that the former administration has done little or nothing? Of course, I'm very much aware that the former administration was massively, doing things regarding road infrastructure.
Yeah.
So, and I think the governor is right if he's looking in another direction, since mostly in Rivers State they have good roads or better roads. So I think the areas they should be lacking truly should be in the terms of education and health sector. So for me, that judgment from the appeal court did not, when there was a judgment from Rivers State High Court that it nullified their seats. The Rivers State High Court was ruling on precedents that the Supreme Court has earlier ruled on cases relating to that matter. And I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a law student, but I think I have little idea. There is something called precedents in law. So they usually rule on precedent that where a
similar case,
a Supreme Court or a higher court has ruled on similar cases that this is the position of the court. Lower courts should no longer contradict that judgment. And I think that has been what has been done by the lower court in Rivers State. But now that the appeal court has now ruled from another angle entirely, then it is now dependent upon the Supreme Court to reaffirm its own position again. So I think it's
now left for the Supreme Court now to come up with what we will be seeing in a couple of times.
That is what we are waiting for.
All right, thank you so much for being with us. This is still Point Blank Talk Show on News Peddlers. Right now we'll be looking at a global issue or issues outside Nigeria. As recently, for the few weeks ago, we've been seeing the ongoing protests in Kenya. Kenya protest has been, it started with a finance bill that was introduced by the Kenyan government, and the people said, no, we don't want this finance bill because the tax over it is going to be too much. We can't survive it. It will affect the livelihood of the people. While the people, they protested for some days, and it got bigger, and by the time the president William Ruto eventually withdrew the bill, the people did not stop anymore. They went further, asking for more. That Kenya need to be better, the government need to do better. And what's your take as regard this so far? Because we can see, we saw in some days ago where the president had to make some address on Twitter Space, clearing his state, coming out to say that there are some political office holders that are being extravagant, they are stubborn, what is now, what do you think is going to be the prospect of this protest, as regard, Kenya, can we call it revolution, the change in the system? And at the same time, at some point, some people have even saying it that, you are going to the government house, you are destroying properties, you are your tax, you will still be the one to finance the tax that will even revive these things. What do you think? Do you think these things will really even bring this protest we are saying now? Will it even really bring the change the Kenyans are agitating for?
Well, you see, what is currently going on in Kenya is something that should be called the Kenyan revolution. Revolution is not only about change of government entirely, but it's also about change in policies or change in major aspect of government. Now, if you look at what those Gen Z guys have done in Kenya, they have done it in a well-organized manner, in such a way that they don't have a leader. And when the protest started, the government was trying to talk to these people, but they made themselves very clear that they don't have a leader, that this is a protest that is just meant to, address the problem that they have currently. That already they have over taxation of land, and a new finance bill is going to be a burden on them already. That is going to be an over taxation to Kenyan people already. And if you look at it, if the president was wise, the president should have stepped down the bill right from inception, where he saw the anger of the youth. But he took them for granted. He trusted the army and the police, and he thought that, as African leaders will always do, unleash mayhem on your citizens, they will back down, kill 2 or 3, others will run away. But this is not what the Gen Z are actually doing out there. When the protests, escalated and they tried to occupy government houses, President Ruto's give an order to the police to start shooting tear gases, shooting water cannon, and at some point they started shooting live bullets. They were initially shooting plastic bullets, but at some point they changed and they started shooting live rounds, and so many Kenyans lost their life. These are some of the things that actually provoke Gen Z more and more, that look, that you have killed some of us is enough for us, that you have to kill everybody. And in Kenya, I must applaud their courts. Their court is entirely independent in this regard. Ordinarily, the court should have been, trying to prolong their judgments for the police or the army to continue their killing. But the court came out to say, look, you must stop using live bullets, ammunition. You must stop using water cannon and tear gas on these protesters. The protest started peacefully until things went wrong. So you have to stop all of this. And in all honesty, you can look at the protest now. It has, the issue of firing tear gas and all of the rest has reduced.
And even reduced the tension of the protest.
No, the tension, of course, the tension reduced a little bit, but the protest is still
ongoing. Yeah, of course.
Immediately the president came with, you read the president, his mood and everything, and his countenance, you see that the president is very afraid. And he made the pronouncement that, look, this bill has been withdrawn, has been cancelled. But again, I heard that there is a clause in, Kenya's constitution that says that if the president do not assent to a particular bill for some number of days, that the bill will definitely becomes a law, even though the president do not assent to it. So, and I think the Kenya Gen Z are also aware of that. That whether he made a statement that the bill has been suspended or whatever, that it will still definitely becomes a law. And these guys refuse to back down. And that was why the protests continue. And they occupy everywhere in Kenya and they are ready to give up their life. And you look at it, the president, that's why he withdraw. He has seen that, look, we have overstepped our bounds. And now he was saying, okay, he has scrapped the office of the first lady, he has scrapped the office of the first son. It is sickening. How should the first son have an office? What is even the role of the first lady for allocating, resources you take from people that are suffering from in the streets? These are masses, pepper seller and everybody. Those are contributing to the economy. There are taxes, you take it and you are using it to feed just a few of you who are in power. You create an office of the first lady, you create an office of the first son. These are not things that should be heard of. I think, and if you look at it from that angle, he has scrapped those offices, and now he has even announced that, look, 40 agencies have been scrapped.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Yeah.
So, scrapping those things, why should you wait until a revolution has occurred?
The point is, for him to have scrapped those,
it means they are irrelevant.
Yes,
they are irrelevant. If you are scrapping them now, it shows that they are irrelevant. You have only created them for political appointments, for your, it's a reward to party loyalists. That means that has been what you have been doing there over the years. You are not using it to serve the people of Kenya. Now those guys have now come out to take their country back to themselves. And you look at the place, he's frightened. He has appealed to those who are occupied his residence. He is equally going on Twitter to appeal to everybody on Twitter. Look at the level he has gotten himself to. You know, they never understood that there is a minimum, there is a limit that you can push the people to. If one of the most dangerous things is that if you push the people to a state where they can no longer feed themselves, then you should expect that a revolution will definitely happen.
Yeah.
You know, Nigeria has oftentimes not witnessed that kind of revolution because now politicians take advantage of us and they use, religion, and they use ethnicity to divide Nigerians when it comes to issues that Nigerians should unite about. So, but if you look at these places, you know, they are well coordinated, they have a purpose, they have a vision, they want to make a better country, regardless of their ethnic or their religious differences. So they have a purpose. If Nigerians equally have a purpose, they will definitely force the government to do the right thing and reduce extravagant lifestyle. You can imagine the president coming out on Twitter, on X, to say that look, there are some politicians that are arrogant. This is nonsense. He shouldn't be saying that because he's one of them. He's equally one of them. So it shows that the people actually possess the power, and the judiciary is not conspiring with them. That is why the people have this success in Kenya.
Okay.
So I think Nigeria government should learn from Kenya protests.
Not to wait to the test.
Not to wait until, because at the moment Nigerians are hungry and they are angry. But issues of election, that 2023 election is still in their mind, still fresh in their mind, and there are a lot of divisions that have been created already. And most of these divisions, people are still nursing them. But they are nursing those divisions because they still have food.
Yeah.
If they no longer have food, everybody will unite in purpose and they will come out. But Nigerian government should quickly address some of these problems before it gets to that level.
Good. We'll be coming back to you after a short break, and where we discuss matters around the world, which is basically the UK election that was just concluded. Yeah, welcome back to Point Blank Talk Show. This is still Point Blank Talk Show on Newsfellas. My name is Manoah Kikekon. With me on this show is Dovoeke Daniel. Lastly, on today's show, we will be looking at the UK, United Kingdom election that was just concluded, and there was, at some point, if you are somebody that is not really active on matters that is going around the world, you may not even know that there was an election in UK, because the whole thing was just no stress, no noise, everybody was just cool. There's no any casualties, there's no anything to make noise about.
There's no hold on.
No hold ons, no balance snapping, no technical glitch, no INEC chairman this, INEC chairman that.
There's no go to court.
There's no, you have to go to court. What do you think? What do you think? What can you comparing this election and what we saw in 2023? And even the prime minister, immediately after the election, the prime minister came out immediately just to congratulate the winner, and the government starts operating immediately with immediate effect. What do you think the government, looking at what has happened, what do you think the Nigerian government can do for us to have a glitch-free election, successful election where life and properties will not be lost, where everybody will be as peaceful as what we just experienced?
Well,
what we just saw in UK.
You see, the election has gotten to a stage where you no longer need to be at a particular place to vote. You can vote from anywhere you are, and that is the beauty of democracy. The idea that people have to go to a particular place
to go and gather in crowds,
they have been working on data over the years. They have data. If from birth they have your data, they should be able to know and understand that look, this person is already 18, and you should be able to issue the ID card without even going to a particular place
INEC office
and go and
queue.
Register and queue. for your own voters
Voters card.
registration card. So by doing all of these things, harmonizing data and using it judiciously, and Nigeria can definitely improve. And you should be able to vote through your mail. With your mail, you cannot vote twice. Even if you create any unofficial mail, definitely it will not work. People should be able, Nigerian government should be able to harmonize data, that it will definitely support them in terms of this. And there should be some, electoral booths, few, not much. People can equally vote from their work. These things should, elections should no longer be about shutting down the economy any longer.
You have to declare public holiday.
No. Election can hold without, but because of selfish interest. I saw recently the Prime Minister of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Netherlands, who is leaving office, and he was leaving with his bicycle. Since the issue of trying to amass unnecessary wealth is not involved, people can exercise their rights peacefully. Going back to UK's election, the election has sent a very strong warning and a signal to the Conservative Party. The Labour took it all. Labour won the election in a landslide victory, and immediately after the election, Rishi Sunak, the former Prime Minister, came out to apologize to the British citizens and congratulated Keir Starmer, who happens to be the new Prime Minister. And you see, something was spectacular about the election. Immediately after Rishi Sunak vacated that office, immediately Starmer visited the British king, the British monarch. Within that same day, he announced his cabinet members. And you will be surprised that in Nigeria it will still take about 5 months, 6 months, 4 months for them to announce their cabinet members. So this shows a working system that, look, immediately you should have a plan ahead, that once you win, your cabinet member is already sorted out. You look at it, immediately he won and he became the Prime Minister. He has announced his cabinet member immediately. Nigeria needs to improve in this aspect. The president should no longer be in office for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months before you announce cabinet members. This is wrong. It will never lead to quick development, because the president cannot cover the entire space within his country. After that election, the election was very peaceful. There was no issue of ballot snatching. There was no issue of technical glitch. There was no issue of
somebody hacking the server.
Yes, people, over 1 million hackers attempting to hack websites, and there was no issue of go to court.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister has came out. This is a clear election conducted under your own view.
Yeah.
And he came out, look, congratulations to the winner. I apologize to the citizens. You have sent a very strong warning to us that we need to do better, that we have not been doing enough.
That's just a sincere
and we equally need to congratulate Nigerians who have won election in the UK. I think about 4 Nigerians equally won election there. We have election in different parts of the world that we are not hearing about noise. There was equally an election in Iran, where the Iran president had lost his life. Yes, there was an election there to replace him, and we are not hearing issues.
There was no crisis. There was no.
Currently, there is equally an election about to hold in France, and equally there is going to be another election in the US too in November. So these are places where elections have been going on. We are not hearing issues
about vote buying,
or even people threatening that this particular tribe
you
must not vote at this polling unit.
You must know, you will not contest in this part of the world. You are this, you are. So see, one thing I even see that is even calling my attention is that Nigerians possibly they become British citizens.
Not possibly. They are Nigerian immigrants who has satisfied the constitutional requirement to become a citizen of
or in Britain.
Yes.
And without any tribal or any racism, peacefully, when they were qualified for those posts, they were voted and no noise.
Yes.
But don't you think Nigerians need to do better as regard that, in terms of when you look at this one, you are not from here, you cannot represent this place from here. Can we even think of somebody from Britain that has migrated to Nigeria and has become Nigerian citizen contesting an election? Do you think he even gets to anywhere in Nigerian politics?
Well, I think Nigeria remains a cultural society.
Yeah.
And they still hold a strong cultural traits within them. And ethnic identity actually has its own disadvantage in place.
Yeah.
What has been happening in Nigeria has been the issue of trying to preserve culture and trying to maintain ethnic identity. And that is why no matter how welcome the people receive you into their society, no matter how much you have stayed, no matter the legality of the constitution that has bestowed citizenship upon you, immediately you come out during election, they will tell you your stories. And that is what has been happening in Nigeria. And I do not see that it will stop anytime soon until we are able to fight off corruption, that there is no longer corruption, or corruption attracts a severe penalty.
Yeah.
That it will distract so many career politicians from seeing politics as a major source of income, rather than looking elsewhere. That look, you can be a politician at the same time
have your occupation,
your own business, or you work in another place. So if we get to that level, that is when we can be talking about what's even there in the governance. If I am not represented, another person can represent us better. And let me focus on my business. Let me allow this whether a foreigner who has become a citizen is now representing us will no longer be an issue. But as it stands, since politics in Nigeria still revolve around corruption, it still revolve around trying to make way, amass wealth, all of these things, Nigeria will not get to that level that we have seen in the UK.
All right, thank you for being with us today. This is the Point Blank Talk Show. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for staying with us. Follow us on our handles. We are on X, which is Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, and we are likewise on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we'll be bringing more updates as regard issues relating to Badagry, Nigeria, and around the world. Thank you for being with us. We wish you a good week, a nice week ahead. God bless.